All right, my friends. Let's get started. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Hang on. Yeah, I know music probably a bit too loud, but it's a really good mix, so I don't know. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Have a little bit of new tech to show you guys tonight. Hang on. And if it's the music is too loud, it's because it's probably a bit too loud. Hang on, I'll fix it. All right, it's a little bit better, but okay. All right. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Let me see who we got in the chat. Sweet. Steven, Philip, Dixon, Morten, Martin, Emil, Dixon, PK, Philip. I mean, if you put your name, I'll repeat it. They're saying beautiful bounce on GBP CHF. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. It is a pretty sweet bounce. All right, guys. Well, hopefully by now you made a lot of money trading Nero. And if you haven't, I would like to hear from you why. I would like to hear how we can improve your chances of making money. Because as far as I have seen, it has been pretty like flawless Nero trades. You know, as long as you're trading the markets you're supposed to trade, it's been very well. We have a little bit of new tech today. As you can see, we have a little bit new stuff. I'll explain it. Also explain you just how soon this thing is gonna trade for you. And yeah, the music's probably still too loud. You're gonna say it's too loud. All right, I'll put it down. Put a little bit down. There we go. That's probably better. All right. Okay. Yeah, GBP CHF looks good. I mean, you could even have done it 2 times, right? Here, another one here. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of opportunities. Once you really start looking for it, it's mind-blowing how much opportunity is in these markets. Like, shit, it's... And I think when you guys start working with this enough, you'll start to see some patterns. You'll start to see some patterns that repeats themselves in the market. And what I'm talking about here is, you know, buying algorithms coming online, or selling algorithms coming online, and in a patterns, in repeatable patterns each week, where the market will do like a deviation, and then it will deviate for a little bit, and then it will go back to what it was doing, right? And I think a lot of people are starting to see it already. And I think when you guys work with this for a little bit longer, you'll really be able to tell just how simple these financial markets really are. Because that's really what I think. I think these financial markets are simple. I think there's a lot of complexity to this world, but I think financial markets at their very core are pretty fucking simple. And I explained that in my video earlier this week. I don't know if you had a chance to look, but if you haven't, there is a chance to watch me just rant and complain for like 45 minutes. So if you're into that kind of thing, no, I'm joking. I do think that's a little bit of educational material though. I see the live stream is a little bit delayed. That's of course all right. That's how it is. But I need to look at these settings, see if we can improve it. Very well. Very well. There we go. So I'll tell you what's going on right now. This is an early build, of course. It's not completely finished. It's not 100% complete. But what we're doing right now is basically building a timeline into Navigator. A timeline of upcoming volatility. So we will have a very good idea of the volatility coming into the market. But this build tonight is not 100% accurate. I don't think the zones are 100% mapped out like they should be, but you get the idea. And the next part of this is, of course, that we merge news into this. And it basically becomes like a timeline of all the known volatility that's going to come, so that we limit the unknowns in the market. And you don't have to go to, you know, daily FX to look at the economic calendar. So that will be nice, because I forget it all the time, and I think there's a lot of other people doing it as well. So hopefully that will be helpful to everyone. Really fucking good. Like, the trades has been very good. If you if you follow the strategy and you trade the strategy, you will see that, you know, there was some deviations last week and this week that was pretty intense, but actually at the end of the day, these deviations turned out in our favor, and that's what we want. We want these deviations to play in our favor. That's how we trade, right? So it's nice to see. Of course, at some point we're not going to be right, and the market will eventually stop us out. But the point is that you should be able to generate the profit from, you know, you should be able to generate profit to cover those losses whenever they may come, and it really won't be too often that you'll see anything like that. So what we have here is basically a trading sessions indicator that we're working on right now that's going to be built in. And the whole idea is that we have mapped out these liquidity zones in the market, so we have an idea when there's going to be activity in the market. Because we you know, it's very simple when it comes to these kill zones, because when a financial markets opens, you know, around the world, whether it's London open or, you know, New York open or Asia open or whatever, whenever these open, all these different entities that needs to do business and needs to do their business, they will just start doing their business. And if they have like a big order, if they have a big client who needs to do a lot of business, needs to do a lot of conversion, or a large amount needs to be converted, that's when you're gonna see them get in and get very aggressive in the initial period. And that's very telling. It's very helpful to get this idea. The second thing that we also have, beside the kill boxes and the sessions, is that we are adding this stop loss down here, which hopefully will make things a little bit easier for everyone to understand. And this stop loss, of course, at this point is not really, what can you say? It's a fixed stop loss that's based on the backtest that we've done, that's shown that this is when we are trading with the strong, you know, the strong markets where the trend is aligned across all the time frames. You won't really be hitting your stop loss unless it's a black swan event, like a real black swan event. And what I think we can do is we can basically turn this stop loss into like an intelligent AI function of its own, where we basically look at the market, we calculate the effective leverage, we calculate the volatility of the market and how it usually trades and so on, and then we can get a very good idea about how stop loss should be placed accordingly to the current active buying and selling algorithms in the market. So yeah, and you know, make sure you get all your questions in tonight. Make sure if there's anything you don't understand, you get the questions in. I will release a video on you know, the strategy itself, which I think needs you know, we have the neural video from last month and so on, but as you know, there's a lot of happened. We have a lot of changes, and it definitely deserves a new video. So keep an eye out for that. I think it will be this week or next week. You will see it pop up, and that should really help clarify everything for people, how they should trade. So let me know if you have any questions. I can barely read the chat. Let me have a look. All right, I got my old man glasses. GBP CHF, people trading AUD Singaporean dollar. Yeah, that looks strong. And let's talk about AUD New Zealand dollar. I think this thing is coming to an end, right? It looks like this is. Yeah, so we talked about this last week. The top of AU. Come on, guys. We talked about this last week. What kind of top that AUD New Zealand dollar was going to create and how we're going to respond to it, right? And here we are. So last week this was the 7th was the last, so that's this candle, and we're talking about it, and look at that. Perfect, great top formation, and I think it's safe to say that this market is going to start to come down from here. It looks. So the question is, what kind of top, right? Like we could still get something like this. I mean, it looks closer to this formation than anything like here or here, right? It looks a lot closer to this. And I think you want to, you know, hold your horses and give AUD New Zealand dollar a chance to pull back, right? And then you want to migrate to the new market that they're pumping, and it looks like it's AUD Singaporean dollar. So let's go have a look at that. And we'll just for a second here turn the sessions off. Okay. All right. So what is going on with this AUD? Okay. It looks like, I mean, if you paid attention to the previous weeks, it looks like AUD Singaporean dollar was just a few days behind the Australian dollar New Zealand dollar pair. And also, if you look here, it looks like it still has room. It could continue all the way up here, like the other pair did, or it could top up around here. I'm not really sure, but you know, this is what happens in these financial markets. You know, once the buyer is done, they're done, and then they will move to a different market, or you know, usually liquidity moves somewhere else. And we have been doing really fucking well, making money from AUD New Zealand dollar. Like if you had been trading AUD New Zealand dollar for the past 2-3 weeks, how long it's been? Let's see, it's been it's been about 12 days, right? So that's nice. And like if you had traded this on the 1 minute time frame with the 1 minute entries and the 5 minute entries and even the 15 minute entries, you've done very well. You've done very, very well. And the challenge now is to make sure that we transition out of this pair without giving back all the profits we made, right? Like we don't, as soon as those buying algorithms start to turn off across the different time frames, you'll want to move somewhere else, and you just want to move on. So we want to find a new pair, and you know what I'm watching here is that how well are we doing this trend transition, you know? And if I'm looking at it, I mean, it's not bad, right? Look at this. Even if you bought the 1 hour here, you still be okay. even, and let's see, the 1 hour strength is about 14%. So you shouldn't really be buying this anymore, right? Like this is it. This is the time to say goodbye to AUD New Zealand dollar. Maybe we're wrong and it comes back and it's gonna go bull run, but most likely this thing is done. So you wanna move forward, all right? All right. Wow, it looks like the stream is like really 5 or 10 minutes behind. I'm not sure why it's so far behind. Interesting. Okay, so moving along. GBP CHF looks good. AUD CAD also looks interesting. Let's have a look at AUD CAD. How is this thing looking? And you remember, we're not trading on 1 day time frame, but the reason I go to one day time frame is to get like a context for this market, like what is going on. And you know, it's strong, but it's the same AUD move, right? So it's the same AUD move. It's interesting that, so my question is, how does New Zealand dollar look? New Zealand dollar USD, it must be going up. It must be, yeah, okay. So this is the reason, right? This is the reason that AUD New Zealand dollar is pulling back. The reason that this is AUD New Zealand dollar is pulling back is because that the strength for New Zealand dollar has come back, right? So have a look at this, right? And this is the kind of stuff you can still do on the higher time frames. So you can see that we kind of topped out, you know, June 7, pretty much the live stream day, right? June 7, that's roughly here where this candle went down and then it came back up like this, right? So I really think, like, I have a really good idea that I think we can build a strength, like a strength indicator, strength model, strength something around these core markets, because you know AUD New Zealand dollar is not just AUD, it's also New Zealand dollar, right? It's half. And what we really care about is what is the strength of AUD. And if we can figure out the strength of AUD, and my idea is that basically take all the AUD pairs, and then take all the counter, you know, the opposite pair that it's trading against. So AUD CAD, you take CAD, and you take CAD against the dollar. You take, you know, you take AUD New Zealand, then you take New Zealand dollar against the dollar. You take all the different AUD pairs against the main currency, you know, the dominant currency, which is the dollar. And then I think we should be able to profile basically basically an individual model for each market and figure out the strength of that. Because if we can do that, it actually makes me pretty interested. I think this is very exciting. If we can do that, I think there's some granularity to the markets that we can pull out of this, where we can get an idea of where the liquidity is moving and how fast. And I think we can do it fast. And I think we can find these new trending markets as they start trending, and we can use that information. We can use that information to figure out when we want to jump into a new market and start to write that trend. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. If Andrew is listening, I hope you're taking notes. Just kidding. All right, let's see. There's a lot of messages. Well, you know, I just see a lot of excited people in the chat, so that's very cool. I'm happy to see excited people. I'm also very excited. I'm excited that people are making money. I'm excited that this is working for people, because frankly, we need something that works for people. And this is great. Let's see. Okay, chat, questions. So PK is asking about BTC not being on the trend index. Why is BTC not on the trend index? Well, BTC is not on the trend index right now because we're using data from Rwanda, and Rwanda is closed in the weekend, and it's complicating a little bit. We'll add it back. We'll put it back. It's coming back. Don't worry. Bitcoin's coming back. Actually, I don't know why it's taking so long. We'll put it back. We'll have it back next week. Hopefully. Hopefully. Let me just take note. Okay. All right. And Philip is asking for GBP CHF, if the price bounces a couple of times already, if I want to get in again, which position is better? Look, let's get something straight here, okay? Let's get something straight here. Your job is to maximize profit, to make as much profit with as much certainty as possible, without taking directional bets of where you think the price is gonna go, okay? So that means you get in here and you get out here. You get in here and you get out here. You get in here and you get out here. And the more times you can do this, the more money you're gonna make. Because the profit you're gonna make from trading this position 3 times or 4 times down here, compared to buying 1 time here and hoping for a moonshot up to the resistance here, is much better to do here. A, you'll make more money. You're guaranteed to make more money. But B, the certainty of the money you're gonna make is much higher because you have the profit. You will be sitting in your position and it will be sitting in profit, and you can take it right there. And it doesn't matter what happens after that. If the market goes up, fine. It doesn't matter. It's not important what it does. If it comes down again, great. We buy it again. We do it again. We do it again. If it doesn't come up, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, right? Like, look at it like a flash sale, okay? Look at it like some fucking guy who went to Apple store and bought, you know, 10 of the new iPhones for $1,200 or $1,500, and now he's on Facebook Marketplace and he's selling them for $800 or $700. You just take it, you buy it, and you sell it immediately after. You're not looking to hold on to it. You're not gonna do directional trades. You're not gonna predict, you know, oh, maybe if I hold on to it, I can sell it back at 50. No, we're looking for certain profit. We're looking for certainty here that we can consistently extract profits from. So you just buy it. And as long as the strength of the trend index is looking like GBP CHF here, you're good to go. All you need to concern yourself with is really just looking, okay, well, you know, is the 15 minutes strong? Okay, then we buy the 15 minutes. Is the 1 hour strong? Then we buy the 1 hour. That's really the key here. You know, there's not too much to it. Don't use your brain too much. All right. And Dixon is asking, would I say 1 hour 15% is pretty much principle for confirmation? Well, okay. This is something I think, you know, people learn as they trade more with it, because there's different situations, right? We have a market coming out of its existing trend or its sideways market and starting to build a trend. That, of course, the 1 hour will be, you know, a low value for a while. Then we have another scenario where we already have a market that's already really, really strong, and it's just 2 different scenarios. Because when you have a trend, when you have a new trend starting, where it's coming out of nowhere and it's starting a new trend, that's a very different scenario than an existing trend that's already built. And there's a couple of reasons why it's so different. Whenever we have a market like this, that has done like this, okay? Whenever we have a market like this, beside the active buying algorithms that's active in this market, you also have to remember all the people that sold to this buying algorithm here, 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 and so on. Every market maker, and it's always like this, every market maker and liquidity provider that has sold to this person is now sitting underwater. So as the market comes down, these people will be looking to close their position or buy back their inventory at the price that they sold. You can see when you have a gap like this, all the people who sold in this gap, you know, who sold down here, they get trapped because they don't have a chance. There's no chance to hedge their positions as the market just gaps up like that. You don't get a chance as a market maker to really hedge your risk. And this is a problem, you know. So these guys that's sitting, this is also why, you know, gaps work, and there's this idea about gaps and so on. It's because that these market makers, if they are stuck down here, they will try to do what they can to sway the price, to influence the price, to come back down to where the inventory got picked off, so they can get out with, you know, as little loss as possible. All right. Now, what is going on with USD CHF? Minus 200. All right. This is nuking. US is gonna open in 2 minutes, so let's see what happens. Wow, what is this thing doing? Look at this. Look at this. What the fuck is this? That's just messy, you know? That's just a mess. And I think we handled it very well, right? Like this is what I sit and I look at every day. It's like, how well are we handling this shit? You know, this going on in the market. What is, you know, how well are we handling it? And what I don't want is that I don't want our algorithms to be building a trend down here, and, you know, while shit like this is happening. If anything, it should be a bearish, right? It should be a short. It should be a net short position, and that's, you know, if you had shorted this, you'd be doing just fine. So this is actually looking really fucking good to me. And even if you had bought it, you would have had a chance to get out. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let me know if you have other questions, guys. All right. Let's see. Euro GBP. Euro GBP. Okay. If you had anything to do with Euro GBP and you closed your trade in loss without it hitting your stop loss, put it in the chat. I want to see the sinners. I'm joking. Look at this. Look at this goddamn scam. Wow. So you can see here, you know, on Euro GBP, we had like a trend established. The market pushed really, really hard, but it didn't really build a trend on the 1 hour or even the 15 minutes very much, right? Maybe we got a trend on 1 minute, so on. That's fine. That's how it should be. But there's no long-term trend. So that means whenever this buyer is done, it's just gonna fall. It's just gonna go straight down. And that's what happened. All right, let's see. Cayman Taylor, I think it's like that. He said, mentioned before, but dynamically reducing risk as positions moves against us, breaking extension. What about increasing risk with fresh established trend? Cayman Islands. Okay, that's cool. All right, bro. That's pretty cool. Okay. So this is something I'm working on, right? If you think about it, it's hard for me to, how do I explain this? Right? All right, so imagine these are different RTDs, right? I'm not sure I'm ready to explain this. I'm not sure I can explain this at this point. This is if you understand that everyone is trading, everyone that makes money is trading the same strategy. We are trading the same strategy as the advanced hedge funds, Renaissance technologies, and etc. Right? We are all using the same tech, pretty much. Everyone is using the same. Maybe they're using like different formulas or whatever, but we all arrive at the same conclusion. We're all watching the same stuff. And if you then imagine like a line of a sideways market that's not going anywhere, right? It's just like a sideways market, and all of RTDs, all of the different trend readings from all the different time frames is all just flatlining. Then imagine that the 1 minute starts to slowly go up. There's like a buyer coming in. There's one buyer coming in, and he slowly starts to influence the price on the 1 minute. As he starts to influence the price, the more he pushes this thing in one direction, the more other algorithms is going to activate and join him in that, and essentially accelerate that trend transition into a new trend. And what this means is essentially that everyone slowly pile into the same trade on a high, on a high frequency trade basis. So first you have the high time, the high frequency algorithm that gets in, that starts to notice this, and they start to activate on the market. And then you have the longer terms and so on coming online. They're all slowly coming online. So that's basically what happens. Because high frequency trading algorithms, what they are doing really is that they notice an active buyer, and all they're trying to do is just buy before the buyer so they can sell back to him a little bit higher. And this happens in microseconds. This happens on a very low time frame, right? So this is what happens on the lowest granularity per tick basis. This is how it evolves, right? Now imagine that instead we have a very strong uptrending market. Let's see if we can find one. Yeah, like AUD New Zealand dollar is a good example. We'll go with AUD New Zealand dollar, right? All right. I hope this is gonna make sense. So now imagine what we're looking at here, right in front of us, is basically the trend starting to transition. As it starts to transition, and as we get confirmation of this seller being active, slowly all of the algorithms start to turn, and they start to work in the same direction as the new seller that's online. And of course, this can only work if the seller is, like has size. It's a seller that's gonna sell some size. It's a consistent seller. It's a consistent program that's online. And as they start to move, to move the new direction of the market, all the other algorithms start to pile on and join that trade. So what I'm saying is that I'm not sure we can do it with human execution, but there is a dynamic model that works here that basically can go long, can be buying the longer term timeframes on 15 minute and 1 hour, while it's also starting to go short on 1 minute and 5 minute time frame. And if you're operating this model on low enough frequency, like low enough time frame, like 1 second or whatever, it basically becomes like a dynamic model that adapts to whatever the market does. So whatever, this model itself is not pushing anything. It just piles on what everyone else is doing. And this is how market makers get left behind and gets blown out, is when they are taking in inventory and everyone else is seeing, oh, this fucking idiot is buying all this stuff, and the rest of the market is just selling against it. And what happens is that this guy who's buying it, that's against everyone else, is essentially going to end up holding the bag, and he's going to take a loss on that trade unless he's big enough to manipulate, you know, or push the market in the direction he wants. Because this guy is trading against everyone else. That's all using the same strategy. That's all using the same methodology to make money. So this is where we're going to go. And that's why I said that the next evolution of this, instead of 1 minute time frame, is really 1 second time frame, or even tick-based time frame, where it is a dynamic model that just loads and offloads depending on what is going on in the market. All right, well, I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure it did, but I hope it made sense for someone. All right. So it's kind of what's happening here, but the problem, right? The problem is to do it. It's hard as a human to execute. I think it gotta be bot based, because the amount that you can start putting into the trade as it transforms, as the trends start to change, the amount that you can trade with is really based on the confidence that you have in that existing buying and selling programs that it's moving to. Okay. GBP USD. Okay, that's interesting. Oh wow, it's been 40 minutes. I don't understand. If you ever wanted to time travel, just do a live stream, and it just fly by. It's crazy. Again, this is very good. A GBP USD, no selling active. We only buying. It's going our way. Those guys who saw the news yesterday that came out, I don't even know what news it was, but what you noticed probably was all the markets in the strong trends, they all moved in the right direction when the news came out. Or they would fill our entries and then go the right direction. All right. I think a lot of people shorting. I think a lot of people shorting SPX. I think a lot of people shorting the indexes, thinking that the whole thing is gonna collapse right now. I think there's a lot of people doing the classic mistakes. You know, it's so easy as a trader, or as people who think they're traders, to read about, you know, like a lot of news coming out that the currency is dying and you know, the stock market's gonna collapse, they're printing money and like all these kind of things, and what happens to a lot of people is that they end up building this idea that, you know, that's gonna be like a really big trade, and they get caught up in this idea that's gonna be a very big trade and they can make a lot of money in one trade. And that is the most dangerous thing you can think, is that to make a lot of money in one trade, you know, there's no sweeter idea than you can put on in one trade. It's gonna make you $200,000. It's gonna make you $300,000 if you can just hold it long enough. But it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't fucking work. For so many different reasons. and people, they do all kind of crazy stuff, like going against the trend and so on. And you know what will happen to them, because you've been trading this for like a month now, so you have a very good idea what's going to happen to these people now. It's just, and the whole point of what we're doing is just not to participate in that. So that's why we need to be very fucking careful when we take our trades to determine our TP. We have to be very careful not to get greedy and try to turn it into a directional trade. I know, I know perfectly well how hard it is, but we have to be very, very careful not to turn trades into directional trades or directional gambles, because once we do that, we are in the same, we're doing the same that everyone else is doing that is making them lose. And you might think, oh yeah, but I know what I'm doing. You know, I know. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's only one group of people that makes money in these financial markets, and it's the market makers. And makes money consistently. It's not that you can't make money. It's not that you can't do a good trade and be well. It's the framework around doing these directional trades that fucks you up. You know, the problems with our old swing trade strategies, our 1 hour strategy, a 4 hour strategy for swing trades and so on, BIC as well, is that so many times we would get filled on a trade, and before the market could even get to our TP, we'd be sitting in profits. We'd be sitting in profit and be like, this is amazing, it's looking great. And then out of the blue, just fucking come in and nuke the position into the stop loss or something like this, you know? I'd be like, what? And you're like, I could have taken profit. Yeah, you could, but you tried to do a directional trade. So it doesn't work. You can't do directional trade. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a trap. It's a trap for your mind, because directional trades are often associated with like making like a good chunk of money from one trade. It doesn't work. The only way to make money, and this is not only in trading, this is in life. The only way to make money in life is to find something, that generates a sustainable amount of money, and then just repeating it again and again and again and again. And it's just it's just like a a small fraction. You know, some of the biggest businesses in the world are payment processors, and they just take like 1% of the transactions to allow their clients to sell to their buyers, right? And this is the same framework we gotta adapt. It's just like we're just looking to make a little bit of money on each trade, but when we do this again and again, you can make 1% an hour. And if you can make 1% an hour, I mean, do you know how fast you will become a millionaire from just doing 1% an hour? If you have 100K and you do 1% an hour, you'll be a millionaire next year. And 100K is not that much money. It's really not that much money. And it's not that much money. The problem is people have like, maybe they have like $500 or they have like $5,000 and they wanna be a millionaire from that. They can, but there's no shortcut. There's no goddamn shortcut. You gotta grind it. You have to grind it. It's the whole process. It's a universal law. Fuck. All right, guys. Let me see. Questions? No questions. All right. I just keep complaining then about people doing directional trades. It's so stupid. I'm joking. We're done with that. But anyway, I am just really happy to see people succeed. I have never seen such good results, such consistent result among our Breakfree traders as we see now. And I want you to feel like when you buy Nero and you pay for that you feel like it's a good deal. That you feel like, oh fuck, I'm the one robbing these guys, based on the amount of money that I'm making. That's how I want you to feel. We need to change the way that people trade. We have to change the way people trade, because trading is just an online casino right now. It's just like an online casino, and And like I talked about in the video, you know, you're not even supposed to be in the fucking casino. You're not even supposed to be here. You know, these markets are meant for the people who have real business, doing business in them, you know, like, and speculation is almost like worshipping the devil, worshipping the devil, you know. I think it's some of the darkest forces in this world. I think if there was some evil that had attracted anything, it would be this. So it's, you know, just try to remind yourself. Just try to remind yourself that whenever your mind starts to get a little bit greedy and you're getting an entry, see, again, here's the problem, right? If you had been this guy, right? You wouldn't have made money, right? You would have gotten an entry, being profit, back to break even, profit, back to break even, profit, and then drawdown, profit. I mean, what do you think that does to your brain? I will tell you what it does, because I lived this shit. There was one time in 2000, let's see if I can find it on Bitcoin. There was one time in, we probably need the Coinbase chart. There was one time in here, long time ago, 2019, where, you know, Bitcoin was trading up here at 10K, it then dumped down, and I was convinced that it was gonna do this. I even have a video of the trade. I was convinced this was gonna happen. And for weeks, I was getting entries down here using X mode, getting really good entries on Bitcoin and sitting like in great profit, you know, like $15,000, $20,000 profit, you know, and this was a lot of money to me. I was like, this is good money, you know, that's good. And I was convinced this thing was gonna do this, what it did later, like do a big spike up and take out all the shorts and then dump again. I was absolutely convinced. And as a result, I ended up getting the entry so many times and just watching that profit every time, just like getting taken away from me. And this was like a period of, how long was this? This was a period of like, it's almost a month. I was sitting in these trades where I would get my fill. It was great. I was sitting in profits like, this is it. It's gonna pump this time. It's gonna do a real pump. I'm gonna make $300,000 in a trade. It's gonna be fucking great, you know? And the mental damage, the mental fatigue that came with sitting in these trades, watching it go into like deep profit, but me being too greedy to take it because I wanted the full trade, and then having it taken away from me again, like 3 or 4 times. It was so fucking heartbreaking that eventually, I'll tell you what happened. Eventually, I was like, fuck it. You know what? It's not gonna happen, you know? And the funny thing was that this was a Friday. Okay, correct me wrong. This was Friday or Saturday. And I remember it very clearly. I had gotten the fill. I was sitting in it. And I was like, this is, you know, I was like, I was really starting to lose faith that this move was gonna play out. And I will find the video for you because I had a real size position on Bitcoin. And what happened was that a friend, I was sitting in my trade. It was a Friday night. Some of my best friends were in town and they were like, hey, you wanna go out or whatever? And I was like, yeah, you know, it's like, I was like, all right, fuck it. And at the same time, as I said, fuck it, The market just started going into profit. It was probably trading like here or something like that. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know, I'm done. I have been sitting in this fucking trade for weeks, days, where it's been going in and out of profit and not been taking anything, and it's fucking stupid. I hate myself. I was so mentally drained. I was so fucking done. So I decided a few minutes earlier, I decided, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna take a little bit of profit. It was like $2,000 of profit or whatever. Just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go drink with my friends or whatever. I take the elevator down. I walk outside. I pull out my phone. I look at BitMEX, and I see Bitcoin trading like 8,700. I was just like, you're fucking kidding me. The one fucking time I decide that I'm gonna take early profit, this fucking shit happens. Oh, this is fucking kidding me. And it didn't stop there. It went all the way up to 10K. And it did exactly. I have a chart on TradingView that shows the full fucking trade, including this dump that came after. And I was just, this is just fucking stupid. And you know, I don't know how many times I calculated again the profit that I would have made, which was like $300,000 from this trade. I was just like, it's fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. And the reason this happened was because that the Chinese government, the Xi Jinping or whatever the fuck his name is, came out and said, endorsed digital currencies, and it just fucking ripped. And I'm never gonna forget that. I had the worst night of my life. You know, I was just like, you fucking kidding me. I was watching, I was just like, this can't be fucking real. It's like, you know, what the actual fuck. But I think the most damaging part. The most damaging part was not the money, you know, the most damaging part was not the money that I didn't make. The worst part was that, you know, I knew that these opportunities only came once in a while, and it's just sitting in the back of your mind and it's haunting you. It's haunting you in a way where you get greedy and now you want to make that money because you feel like you got cheated out of it. And it creates like a subconscious demon inside of your mind that's just gonna take you out. It's just gonna drain you. It's gonna kill you. And this is the kind of demons, this is the kind of shit that happens when you're directional traders and you try to get this shit right. Had I applied the technology that we have now, I could have traded this shit for all those weeks and made money every single day. I would probably have made more money than I would made from this entire trade. So this is why we cannot do this. We cannot do this because it's greed. It's the fucking work of the devil. I'm not even, you know, I don't even believe in Christian or whatever, but this is pure evil shit. The kind of state it puts your mind in, it's just like, it's so damaging. Not only the money you didn't make, but the aftermath of that, the you know, what comes after. So we cannot do it. All right? No fucking directional trading. It doesn't fucking work. It doesn't fucking work. All right. I'm getting back into my old loop. All right. Let me see if there's any questions. I just been talking for 10 minutes. What is this fucking song? It's fucking terrible, bro. All right, change it. All right. I'm calm. I'm trying to save people from this shit because this is eventually what's gonna happen. You will study technical analysis long enough to start building things in your mind, and maybe you're right and so on, but the execution of the trade, all it takes is like one little mental error and you're totally fucked, you know? Oh, never gonna fucking forget this trade. This is the worst. It's the worst Friday. It's the fucking worst. I remember how fucking everyone was asking me like, what's wrong? You know, what's wrong? I was like, it's like, oh, nothing. I just been sitting in my room, with, you know, blinds on for like 4 fucking weeks, waiting for this shit to play out. And the first fucking time I step outside my fucking door, this fucking shit happens. I just don't want you guys to go through the same. I just don't see the need. I don't see why people need to fucking experience this. People do not need to get fucking destroyed by these financial markets. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. But at the same time, the point of the story is that everyone else that we are trading against that's not doing what we are doing are trapped in this shit. If you see any friends, if you see anyone else, you know, and you see what they're doing and they're doing well, just keep in your mind, they will give it all back. And not only are they gonna give it all back that they made, they're gonna empty the entire fucking bank account. And when they empty the entire fucking bank account, they're gonna pay it to you. You are gonna take that money. We are gonna take that money. And that's the beauty of it. It's us against them. It's us against directional trades, gambling fucking people. Temporary success that they get is only temporary. They will never be able to keep it. There is no such story. There is no such result where people walk away from a directional trades with millions of dollars in profit on an over leveraged trade and then keep it. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. What happens instead is that even if they make, let's say, $2 million in a trade, they pull all their capital, they know it was over leveraged, they know they got lucky, but they pull all their capital out and they're like, this is fucking great. What they will do then is they will go buy a house or they will go buy some cars, and eventually they're gonna run out of money. And what happens when these people run out of money? What do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna go right back to where they came from. And this time they need to make money. And because they are in a need to make money, it's gonna bring out all kind of demonic shit inside of them that they are not aware of in their mind exist. And it's gonna not only make them lose the money that they put in, it's gonna make them lose all the money they ever fucking made. This is something I know by heart. Based on the people that I know, that I worked with. This is true for people that traded with $10 million. This is true for people that traded with $100 million. This is true for people trading with 10K or 1 million. It's so fucked up. It's once you get that lucky trade that makes you like a millionaire or makes you very rich and whatever, it's the worst thing that can happen to you, because there has been planted a demon inside of your brain that at some point in your life you're gonna come back to it and you will not be able to do it, and you'll be like, I don't understand, why can I not make money this time? I made it last time, why can't I not do it now? Well, it's the point. And they end up in this fucking, they end up in this shit, right? All right, guys. Oh wow, I just ranted for another 10 minutes, you know. I want people to win. I really want people to win. And I wanna help get this demonic shit out of the world. And because you look at Instagram, you look at YouTube, and you look around you on Facebook, and there's people trying to sell you trading courses. There's people trying to sell you all kind of different strategies and so on. And none of it is market making. All of it is directional trade based or momentum based or something bullshit like that. None of it is going to work long term. The only thing that works long term is to make a little bit of money over time consistently. And like, the goal is not to make one big trade. The goal is to make a bunch of small trades and keep trading. The goal is not to get rich. The goal is to stay rich. The goal is not to make money. The goal is to keep making money. It's not to make a single trade that's going to make you rich. The goal is to keep making money. And 1% a day is pretty fucking good. It's really fucking good. And there's people doing 2%, 3%. All right, guys, it's been a blast. Thank you for coming to the live stream. Some people, you know, sometimes in life, most of the times in life, people have to make their own mistakes. You cannot tell people this stuff. They, you know, they have to. I mean, hopefully I can touch on you guys and I can get through to you. But for a lot of people, they are not gonna accept the truth until they learned it the hard way, the very hard way, and that hard way means you lose your bank account, your savings, and everything attached to it, your relationships, even maybe your girlfriend, and if you have responsibilities or you have kids or something like that. Like, just I think about, I don't have kids, but I think about the dads out there, the fathers out there trying to provide for their families and then getting caught up in this demonic alien devil bullshit of directional trades or gambling and so on, and bad things happen. I remember a guy who came to me and he showed me his MetaTrader account, and he was in drawdown of like $70,000 or something like that, and he had already lost a lot. And it's been a few years since I talked to him, but at the end of the day, he was down like 500,000. No, what is it, like 300,000, 300 to 500,000 British pounds. And he was a simple guy. He just had, he was a simple guy with a simple job. He was, he's not gonna make that back anytime soon. And when the wife found out, she fucking left, and it was just like, was that really necessary, And I don't think people need to learn it that way. I don't think it's necessary. All right. Okay. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry, guys. I can keep talking, but you gotta get past it. It's not easy. It's very hard. We are greedy people. It's in our DNA. And we gotta overcome this shit together, right? We gotta overcome this together. And I'm really thinking of this, like, when we released Nero, it's a new beginning, right? It's a new beginning. It's the genesis of a trading revolution. We need to fix this shit. We need to solve this problem. And we need to solve it in a good way that makes sense for everyone. All right, I'm done now. I finished this live stream 3 times now. But guys, thank you for coming to the live stream. I'll see you next week. Great tech is coming. AI automation, trade execution is coming. It's going to be fucking great. It's going to be fucking great. The next 10 fucking years is going to be fucking amazing. I guarantee it. I'll see you around, guys.